Foremost, giving honor and praise to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Giving double honors to 7130 South Chicago that taught me this truth. And giving double coming in week in and week out, the destruction and the downfall of the kingdom, which we will call Babylon the Great, which a lot of you people will look at it as America. See, most of the people that walk up and down the street every day, they think that America is always going to be here. Or even if you think that it's going to always be here, you think that you're not going to deal with the destruction that's taking place, that we're looking at, that's going on in the affairs of human beings. See, the whole human family is out of order. And the culture that we live by today is the culture of the adversary. See, what are some of the cultures that we live by? We have a culture, human beings, that if I want something from another person, instead of me doing trade with a person, that I can set up a mentality, or I set up a situation where I try to take a person's natural resources from them. See, the planet has been running around killing each other for, what's that, millenniums. And what's taking place is that the Creator is in the process of judging the human family. See, you can't kill a man and take his natural resources and think that you're going to tiptoe in the future forever. And this is the mentality of America. See, America thinks that she's going to go around the country and she thinks that she's going to rob and pillage and rape and murder the inhabitants of people, and she thinks that she's not going to be judged by that. But you know, the Messiah said back in the day, when Peter was going to kill the Roman for trying to come at Yahshua, where he chopped his ear off, Yahshua said, put your sword up, is because why? The person that lived by the sword is basically going to die by the sword. And see, when we look at all these wars, we look at all these rumors of wars that's taking place on the world stage, this is the Creator ushering the human family into a bloody warfare. You know, in history they say that the First and the Second World War, it almost killed almost 1 billion people. Right? And it was a very bloody war. You had millions of people that lost their lives during World War I and World War II. And we was dealing in a time that they didn't even have what you would call nuclear weapons. They was in the beginning stages of building. How y'all doing today? They was in the beginning stages of building quote-unquote nuclear weapons. I think Einstein and Oppenheimer and all these other people, they was in the beginning stages of dealing with atomic energies, because the Creator had gave them the knowledge to be able to split the atom. But before then, their nuclear weapons were what we call conventional bombs today, right? And over 1 million people lost their lives in World War I and World War II. And you had millions upon millions of people hurt in those wars just as well. And when we was looking at World War I, what was that the beginning of? That was the beginning of what you would call the downfall of the American system. Because the Gentiles been in power since 606 BC. under Nebuchadnezzar. And now we're dealing with what you would call the European Common Market System, which is NATO and the European Union. So now we're looking at a situation where the human family is going to embark on something that is going to be very catastrophic. It's because the Creator he didn't give the nations that's in power today the ability to build atomic energy for quote unquote to be able to help humanity. He gave them the knowledge to be able to do that. Is because eventually these nations, they're going to take themselves off the scene via quote unquote nuclear destruction. And nuclear destruction is going to have a catastrophic effect on the human family. Plant life, human life is going to be destroyed. And the people that's left over, they're going to suffer. See? And this is what the Bible teaches. When we teach the Bible. See, the Bible is not a fairy tale book that you can read and you know, everybody is supposed to come together and grab arms and all this type of stuff. That's not what happened. Those things are going to happen in the future. But before those things can happen, the Creator got to do what? He got to destroy the people that he's considering the wicked. So the first scripture that I want to read today is I want to read from the 49th chapter of the book of Psalms, right? Because this is the mindset of the elites that's in power. See, this is the mentality of the elites that's in power, right? So it says, Psalms, the 49th chapter and 11th verse, their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They shall call their lands after their own names. This is the mentality of the elites that's ruling the world, especially America. See, when America came over here, not America, when the Europeans came over here to America, they took this land from the native indigenous black people that was controlling the land before them. And when they took over the land, they said that we're going to control this land forever. See, we're going to enslave the people. Right? We're going to enslave the people. We're going to put them in our curriculum. We're going to teach them our educational system. We're going to teach them that the people that came over here, that they was the founding fathers of the country. And that the Indians, the Native Americans, and the Pilgrims, that they sat down and they had a feast and they all came together, but that's not history. Because you could go into the history that when the Europeans came over here, and they took this land by force, and they enslaved the people. And they taught the people their education by force, right? They taught the people that the Messiah was a so-called white man, and that the white people are the rulers over the planet. And this is the mentality of the Americans even to this day. And not even the American, it's the Euro-Gentile world power system. This is the mentality. See? We're going to teach you a curriculum that the white man is superior and everybody else is inferior. So when we're reading that, when they say in their inward thoughts, that we're going to continue, right? Let's read that again. It says, their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue, right? Forever. When we talk about their houses, what are they talking about? They talking about their lands, their governmental structure. How they set up a government, and that's always going to be. But that's not always going to be, see, because you have a situation that the Creator judges everybody off of what? Off of the deeds and the spirit and the characteristics that you do on the earth. See, we're talking about people that poison the air. They poison the mentality of the people. They poison the food. And then they overcharge you for the food. So in their spirit is that they're going to continue to build up infrastructures, and they're going to tax the people hundreds on the dollar, right? And continue to have the people in slavery. This is the mentality of the system. So when we reading this, we got to understand that this is the mentality of the elites that's in power. And the mentality is that they're going to continue to control the inhabitants, control the people. But we see that a lot of that stuff is doing what? It's falling apart is because the same people that they're trying to, the same people that they enslave are the same people that is fighting against the system. But let's read that again. It says, their inward thought says that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places shall, it says, in their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. The America was named after Amerigo Vespucci, according to the history, right? And when they came over here, they took this land. They destroyed their inhabitants. They raped, murdered, and robbed the people. And then you had, it was that movie, I can't remember it, with my man Leonardo DiCaprio, right? He did the movie where the Caucasian, he was marrying the Native Americans, and he was marrying off different women, the Native Americans that won a big settlement during that time. And those white folks, they was poisoning those women to control their wealth and their lands. So when we talk about judgment, the Creator got a heavy judgment that's coming to this system. Because the system is built upon what? Bloodshed, see? That's what the system is built upon. You can't build a system off of slavery, and then you talk about God, but you're not godly. And that's the mentality of the so-called white man, see? How you doing today, sister? Want to hear about the Bible today? Maybe next time. See, but you know, if I was Barack Obama standing out here, they'd be standing over here by the thousand. People will they'll call their job, and they'll tell their job that they're not coming in today. They say that they sick. Because you know Barack Obama is out here. You gotta know what you gotta know that when Barack Obama is out here, what he's talking about is according to the word of the Most High. See, this is the mentality of the people. But when the poor man is standing out here, they say, who is this fellow? And depending on what the words that he's speaking, if he's not speaking according to what they want to hear, they're going to do what? They're gonna walk past. They're gonna shake their head. They're gonna look at the signs. Or you're gonna have some people, they're gonna seek to overthrow them. See? How you doing, brother? Have a nice one, man. They're gonna seek to overthrow these people. And these are the people that's gonna stand up in the last days to speak truth to power. See? See, you gotta be a bold man to speak truth to power. And most people don't want to do that. It's because throughout history, you have people that speak truth to power, and a lot of them, they died a violent death. And you had like a lot of the apostles, they were speaking truth to power, and a lot of them died a violent death. See, and they died a violent death by the hands of their own people. Because you got a lot of people, they don't really understand a lot of things. What's going on, brother? They don't understand a lot of things that you're talking about. A lot of times they disagree off of their ignorance. Right, so the scripture says what? Their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue. And see, this is the mentality. This is why the system think that it's going to always be on the scene. See, you had a guy, he was standing out, he was outside talking to the people, and he was saying that George Floyd, he didn't get killed by a guy putting a knee on his neck. He got killed by fentanyl. That's the mentality of the so-called white man talking about things that is contrary to the truth, see? So the black girl asked him if he was already choking, if he already can't breathe, then why would you put your foot on his neck? Because, you know, that's a procedure that we learned, that they learned in police academy to subdue the person, right? But a lot of times they don't even do their own people like that. And see, this is why the Creator's gonna deal with a lot of you folks, man. It's because, you know, you speak with arrogance. See, that's what the so-called white man does. How y'all doing today, man? Y'all enjoying y'all day? Y'all want to hear about the Bible today? Won't take nothing but a minute. Maybe I should bring up Barack Obama out here next time. See, that's the mentality, Joe. You got these folks out here, man. What's his name? Zelensky was being reprimanded by Donald Trump and all them because he didn't want to wear a suit to the presidential conference that he was having. Why would I wear a suit and my people is being destroyed? And see, they mad at him because he's not winning the war. A war that they started. That's the perfect example of a person thinking that they're gonna always continue, right? How you doing today, sister? That their lands is always gonna be forever. See, they think they're gonna go around and conquer lands for natural resources. How you doing today, good brother? Want to hear scripture today? Maybe next time. like I was saying before, Creator did not allow these heathens to build up atomic energy so that they can continue to rule in their affairs of men. What's happening today is that these people, they going to war with each other. And this war that we're embarking on is going to be catastrophic, man. It's going to be, people's going to die by the billions. See, a lot of y'all going to die by the billions, man. You know, it's this book that I'm reading by this lady by Ann Jacobson. She talks about it in Nuclear War, that how catastrophic the atomic bombs are, that a lot of people is going to be turned into what? Combustible carbon. That's what she said. And combustible carbon is nothing but ash. But the people that's not going to be turned into combustible carbon, they're going to suffer. They're going to suffer. It's because a lot of this land mass out here, it's going to be hard for people to breathe. It's going to suffocate the people. A lot of people are going to die from starvation. A lot of people are going to result to cannibalism. See, this is a part of the Bible that people don't want to talk about. See? You know, when you go to church on Sunday, they always got a song and dance. But see, when you really go into the scriptures and preach it for what it really is, you're going to see that it's not a song and dance. And that a lot of us, man, we need to be in grave fear about what's going to happen in this upcoming future that we're dealing with today. So when they're talking about that their inward thoughts is that they're going to continue to build houses, see, they trying to go to another planet. They want to go to Mars. They want to go to Jupiter and build over there, which is nothing is wrong with that. But the thing is, how you gonna continue to build and you got a devilish mentality? If there's people over there on Mars, you're gonna go over there and you're gonna befriend the people with the mentality of taking over their land. You're gonna pit one group of people against another group of people. And that's what's wrong with you going to another land. See, they want to be like Star Trek, going to different planets and things of this nature. But that's not going to fly, man. The Creator's not going to allow you to go to another planet where there's life form over there so you can go over there and enslave the people. See? The book of Isaiah, the 54th chapter and the 17th verse. It says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy." And what is the Creator talking about? He's talking about how you built atomic energy. You didn't build atomic energy to be able to help the planet. You built atomic energy to destroy the planet. That's why the Creator said, "Behold, I have created the smith." Because the smith is a person that builds things from the elements of in the earth. You got people that build bullets. You got people that build guns and things of this nature. Builders. So when they created those atomic bombs and things of this nature, they didn't build it to help the people. They built it to do what? to destroy people. And then you turn around and said that what? If you don't do what I say, I'm gonna destroy your land. You got that pinky in the brains mentality. Every time you wake up in the morning, you think about the destruction of the planet or the destruction of the people that you can't control. So it says, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals and the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. So that's the Creator telling you flat out that what? That he didn't build the atomic energy or those bombs to be helpful towards humanity. He built it to destroy humanity. See? It's because you got people out here that believe that if there's so many people on the planet, that I have a right to play God and control the people that's on the planet. Because I'm in grave fear that if these people be awakened, that eventually they will build themselves up to take over the planet. This is why. So what have they weaponized? They didn't just weaponize physical bombs and things of this nature. They have weaponized the water. The water is weaponized against humanity. The food is weaponized against humanity. When you eat your food, you're supposed to have a bowel movement. You ain't supposed to get no Maalox or nothing like that to be able to go to the bathroom. You're supposed to be able to go to the washroom when you eat your food. But you can't do that because they have weaponized the food against the people. So when you eat your steak, when you eat your red beans and rice or whatever you're eating, the food is fighting against you, right? They have weaponized the mentality of the people. We're supposed to be living in a world where people care about one another. If you got corn and I got rice, we're supposed to be able to come together as brothers and build together. But we don't have that mentality today. We have a mentality, if I got corn and you got rice, I'm not going to give you my corn. I'm coming over there and I'm going to take your rice and I'm going to add that to my corn. This is the mentality that we have today. So up under this system, it has weaponized us against one another. And as a result of this, a lot of us is going to be destroyed. See, they're not telling you about what's going on in the news over there in Ukraine. They're not telling you that the people are dying over there in Ukraine by the thousands. And that's just the tip of the iceberg about what's finna happen. Because you're not just going to die by the thousands, you're going to die by the billions. There's 8 billion people on the planet today. When the Creator get through chopping it down, there's only going to be probably maybe 2 or 1 billion people, or maybe a couple of million people that's going to be left. Because a lot of you, your judgment is going to be what? Is that the Creator is going to destroy you. That's the judgment. You know, you got people out here, they say that you can't judge me. But the scripture says that what? The righteous is going to judge. And when the righteous is judging, they're not judging. They're judging off of the criteria of the Creator. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that they're perfect, but they're standing on truth behind the most powerful force in the universe, and that's the Creator of the universe. Right? So that's where we at with it. See, a lot of the people that's walking up and down the street every day, see, they think that they're going to continue to do this. But it's going to come a time, and it's going to be a place in history where a lot of you folks, you're going to be scared to come out in the morning. You're going to be scared to come out in the evening. And you're going to be scared to come out at night. See? Because what's coming to the human family is that the Creator is going to wreak havoc on the human family. How y'all doing today? Book of Psalms, the 7th chapter, the 13th verse. It says, He have also prepared for him the instrument of death. He ordained his arrows against the persecutors. And what is that talking about today is that the Creator is going to raise up other nations against America. And who is one of the nations that the Creator is raising up against America? He's raising up what? Russia. If you notice, Russia has always been a thorn in America's side throughout the 70s, the 80s, right? And we see her today building up what you would call BRICS. And BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South America. How you doing today, sister? And what's happening is these people, they coming together to make war against America. And every attempt that America has made against Russia, it has failed. Because when Russia first started the war against Ukraine, they tried to put sanctions on Russia. But the sanctions didn't work. It's because the same people that America was telling not to do business with Russia, they had no choice. Because they need that gas that Russia has. This is what shows you that America is losing her grip in the earth. See? Because back in the day when she spoke, people listened. But now the people is not listening anymore. About 30 or 40 years ago, you wouldn't have saw nations coming together and banding themselves with Russia to make war against America. That was a no-no back in the day. But now you see the nations, they coming together to band against America. It's because Russia and China and their allies are the people that is going to do what? Come against America. You see that man over there, see he jogging. A lot of people, they're going to be running for their life, man. Because when they start to enact war on the land of America, it's going to send a grave fear throughout the inhabitants. And see, here's another thing too, that America is so afraid that Russia is going to take off the scene, that she's going to conjure up certain coups in the country that's going to galvanize the people to fight against Russia. See, this is what's coming. Just like she did at 9/11. How she said that Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden, all these people, they came together, hijacked planes, and they used those planes to take out the Twin Towers. But in actuality, it was America that was behind it. Just like she's doing over there in Ukraine to demonize Russia. They went over there and they started a war with Russia, and then when Russia retaliated, now Russia is the boogeyman. See? And you have the media. You have the people that control the mindset of the people throughout the media. They're using the media to be able to do what? To be able to paint Russia in a certain type of spirit to come against her. And this is what she's going to do. I wouldn't put it past that she may set up a scenario in the country where it could be something that's real catastrophic, and then she'll blame Putin. And then everybody started joining the military to fight against Russia, but in actuality, America is the one that started. See, this is the mentality of the devil, see? How do the devil control the masses? Through thoughts, ideas, and suggestions. So Psalms, the 7th and the 13th verse, he have also prepared for him the instrument of death. And what is the instrument of death? It's these nuclear bombs that these nations have, and they're all pointing these nuclear bombs at one another. Russia and their allies is pointing their nuclear bombs at America and their allies, and America and their allies is pointing nuclear bombs at Russia and their allies. And this is where we at with it today. And a lot of you people is going to be ushered into the Third World War, and you're going to be destroying this Third World War. Actually, the Third World War has already started. You just don't see it. It's because the bombs haven't been dropped over here in this country. Do you know that Russia can fire off a missile today? And it said that America cannot stop the missile. If Russia was able to shoot off a missile today, Russian scientists have said that they cannot even stop the missile from coming over from Russia. So a lot of you folks are nothing but sitting ducks, man. You're not in a Cold War spirit. See, you're in a happy-go-lucky spirit. You think they're going to continue to go to these stores and go into these stores and spend thousands of dollars, put things on layaway. I'm going to come get it in 30 days. That's your mentality. But here it is that the Creator is what? He's racing the human family into the Third World War. That's why the Creator said what? Only a remnant is going to be saved. And who is that remnant? That remnant is the nation of Israel. And these nations that's going to galvanize themselves behind the nation of Israel, the so-called black man. That's why it behooves the so-called black man to return back to his nationality, to understand who he is from a nationalistic standpoint of view, so he can be able to understand who everybody else is. The biggest problem that the so-called black man has is that he think he's free. He has been taught throughout history that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, 1865. That they had compassion for the black man about what he was going through and the black woman. And that we're going to gather the troops so that the black man can become free in this country. This is what education, the white education has taught our kids. But in actuality, we did fight in the Civil War. But the only reason why we was fighting is because they said that if we didn't fight, that we was going to continue to keep you in slavery. We was fighting to maintain the Union. One slave master over another. But here it is, when we was fighting these wars, we wasn't even allowed to be able to vote in this country until about 100 and something years later. Look at that. Look at the hypocrisy of that. The hypocrisy of people that say that they believe in the Bible. But here it is, they set up unions and they set up little crews to be able to hang black folks in the country. That's why the black man got to return back to his history. Black man don't even understand that the Bible is his history. It's his saga. Matter of fact, let's get a scripture on that. Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and I'm going to start reading at the 68th verse. It says, "And Yah shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way of I spake unto thee." And when the Creator is talking about Egypt again, what is he talking about? He's talking about what? The transatlantic slave trade. Because in actuality, the so-called Negro is living in modern day Egypt today. That's why when you look on the back of the dollar bill, it has what? It has the pyramid. It's because America has patterned themselves after the old empire of Egypt of yesterday. That's why it says what? "And Yah shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way of I spake unto thee. And thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondman and bondwoman, And no man shall buy you. Meaning that what? They're not going to save you. We have had a lot of black pioneers throughout history. But they was unable to save us out of the condition that we found ourselves in. We had black folks a part of the abolitionist movement. We had black people that started what you would call the Nation of Islam. We had all these different movements that took place throughout history. But they was unable to save you from your condition. Because this is the condition that has been put on our people, is because we have rebelled against the Creator. See, we have rebelled against the Creator. We were supposed to be the spokesman of the Creator, and we rebelled. We wanted to be just like the Gentiles. And as a result of this, we're acting just like the Gentiles. You got black people talking about, you got black people arguing back and forth about the Ukraine war. You got black people arguing back and forth about Democrat, who is the best for the people, the Democrats or the Republicans. This is the mentality of our people today. You got black people say that Kamala was the best choice for the presidency, and then you got black people talking about Donald Trump is the best candidate for the presidency. And what did the Creator say about that? Let's turn to Jeremiah 17th chapter. What's going on today, brother? All right, man, enjoy your day. Like I say, you know, I was listening to Tariq Nasheed, and they was arguing with what they would call a Democratic shield. Some of his people, they was arguing about who is the best candidate for the United States. And they was arguing over the Ukraine war. You know, and about 200 and something years ago, how you doing, sister? That you wasn't even allowed to vote in this country. Here it is, you arguing back and forth about who is the best candidate for the country. And what we should be doing over there in Ukraine. Who cares? It's because those people are, they racist themselves, see? You worried about that, but you're not even worried about stuff that's going on in your own community. About how we kill each other over nothing. You know, out here in Chicago, you got people that have picnics in remembrance of the projects that they came from that was torn down, right? So in the they were shooting is because they was targeting a rapper. Look how stupid that is. I make a diss record about you and then you come back and try to kill me. This is the mentality of the people. That's why the Creator says what? He says, Jeremiah, the 17th chapter, in the 4th verse, and thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee. Saying, what is the Creator saying? That he's going to erase your heritage from your mentality. That's why the black man is running around here calling himself a black man, an African American, a colored man. He says that he's not from Africa. He had a ethnogenesis, and that he's not an African anymore. That he's a foundational black American. But he don't even run nothing in the country. And then he goes back and forth with other people, quote unquote, white supremacists, and quote unquote other black people that they call tethers, which some of them are, right? And they argue about this, that, and the other. And the reason why they argue like that is because they don't understand who they are. They don't understand where they come from, who their foreparents are. And then instead of taking on the devilish religion of Christianity, they start to take on African paganistic systems that they have adopted over there in the west coast of Africa that they wasn't even indigenous to. That's why the Creator says what? He's going to discontinue you from your heritage. You're not going to know who you are in these last days. See? Instead of understanding your ancient ancestral cultural roots, you're going to call yourself by the slave master. You're going to talk about slavery. You're going to talk about reparations. But you don't have the mentality to leave if they give you reparations. And go back home and build up your own country. You want to use the funds from reparations to continue to build up a white supremacist country that put your ancestors in slavery. See, that's a people that's broken. So it says, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. See? And that's not talking about forever in the sense that that's going to always continue. It's going to continue until the Creator do what? Till He take it off for you. That's why you see a lot of our people, they still got the residue of slavery on them. You got people that are multi-millionaires in the country. And that's not a new phenomenon. We have always had people that was very successful in the country. But they still have a slave mentality. And the reason why they have a slave mentality is because what? It's because because our culture, our language, right? Our identity has been taken away from us, man. Instead of putting on the creator's culture, we have taken on the culture of the heathens. And as a result of that, we have been smitten before the nations. This is why the nations don't have no respect for us. This is why when we talk about reparations, they laugh at you. How you gonna ask for $1 trillion? You ask for $20 trillion to be able to put the money back into the same system that dehumanized you. Something is wrong with that. That's a mentality. And that's a mentality that the Creator has put on our people. That's why the Creator said, what? You're going to be smitten before your enemies. You know, this is why when you ask a so-called black man, hey, what's your nationality? He can't tell you. He can't tell you. Because the Creator has taken that away from them, man. And all these nations, they have benefited off of the spirit of delusion that the Creator has put on his people. They have benefited from that. Black man don't even understand that America is basically a prison that we built for ourselves. And you got people out here that are brilliant. They still want to keep the country going. They think that someday that they're gonna take over the country, and that they're gonna be ruling, and that the so-called white man is going to be, he's gonna be self-serving. No. That's why the Creator is going to get rid of this system, because this system was built upon falsehood, man. There's nothing great about this system. It says the book of Revelation, the 19th chapter and the 17th verse. It says, and I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great power. And what is that talking about? That's talking about the Third World War that's taking place right before your eyes. And who is the fowls? Because, a fowl is basically a bird that is a scavenger, that'll eat anything. So when it's talking about the fowls, it's talking about humanity that is going to be destroyed, that has taken on what's called the mark of the beast. What's going on, brother? And what is the mark of the beast? The mark of the beast is the philosophy and teaching of the Babylonian mystery system. See, a lot of you cats, you already chipped and you don't even know it. And what are you chipped with? You chipped with the philosophy of the system. So that's why the Creator said what? He says, one second. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great power. See? And that's basically the people that's going to be gathered to the great destruction that's going to be taking place. That's why I was saying before that this war that the people is going to embark on is going to be a war of nuclear, it's going to be a nuclear fallout. If one nuclear bomb hit this country today, this whole country will go into the ocean. This is how powerful these nuclear weapons is going to be. And they're not just going to be over here in America. This war is going to be, it's going to be a war that's going to be fought both air, land, and sea. All of the countries that have nuclear weapons, they're going to fight against one another. And there's going to be billions of people that's going to lose their lives. Just like in World War I and World War II. It says that ye may eat the flesh of the kings, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bonds, both small and great. And how's the Creator's going to eat it? He's going to destroy these people. We're going to be destroyed by conventional bombs, the machine guns, and nuclear weapons. That's why the Creator said what? Behold, I have created the smith. See? I have made the waster. See, these people don't care about humanity. And a lot of you don't care about humanity. You say you do, but you don't. Why? It's because the culture of today has taught us that we got to put all these preservatives in the food. And now the food is destroying the human family. This is the culture. The culture teaches us today, if I got corn, you got rice, I'm going to come over there and take your corn. And I don't have to set up a barter system that we borrow from each other. The culture is, it says that what? We're going to set up a peace treaty, but we're not going to live by the peace treaties. You know how many peace treaties that America has set up that they have lied and then they stole people land and all type of stuff. This is the culture. That's why the Creator says that he's going to eat the flesh of the kings, the flesh of the horses, and the people that's riding on the horses. It's because the people are hypocrites, man. We all are hypocrites. We say that we say that we worship the Creator, but we don't. Don't let me leave out you Christians, you Muslims, you Jews. You gonna get it too. Okay? It's because this war that's taking place, it's a quote-unquote religious war. Because all of you guys are following the Babylonian mystery system. You know, a lot of these black Christians, they be in the church, they thinking that they're going to be saved. No, they not. Because a lot of you are hypocrites too. The Creator said, keep the Passover. You say your Passover is Easter. That's what you say. Creator says keep the Sabbath. You say your Sabbath is Sunday. So you're a hypocrite. You gonna get that word too. The Creator says you're supposed to keep the dietary law. You say no. I'm gonna eat crab, shrimp, and lobster. I'm gonna eat pork and all type of stuff. This is what we say. The Creator says that the Messiah was a so-called black man. You say no. The Messiah was a so-called white man. This is what you say throughout history. This is why the Creator has to destroy the planet. As long as, not the planet, but the people. As long as these people are still ruling, talking about the elites, the culture of the people is gonna maintain the same. It's gonna be the same. Says, and I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and his armies. So we talk about World War III. World War III is in the Bible. Why the pastor is not talking about that? See, why Pastor Hannon and all these folks, why they not talking about that? Because the Creator hasn't put it in their mouth to speak about that. Why Pastor Hannon, T.D. Jakes, and all the rest of these folks, why they not out here warning the people of the destruction that's going to take place? It's because there's no money in that. You can't generate money off telling people that the system is going to be destroyed. You can't make any money off of telling the people that the white man is a hypocrite. You can't make money off of that. You know, he bought that store over there on, I think, 79th and Cottage. You can't buy no store talking like how I'm talking. See, there's no money in warning the people about death and destruction that's going to take place right now in the future. But what the Creator said about the pastors, it says what? Isaiah 56:10. It says his watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving the slumber. And that's what's going on in the so-called black churches. See, they dumb dogs, lying down, loving the slumber. They don't have no bar. See? Everything is about prosperity teaching. How much money you gonna have in the bank? But here it is, according to Scott Ritter. Scott Ritter said that the dollar system is no more. That the U.S. currency has fallen. Here it is, this is so-called white man saying this. Colonel McGregor, all these people that fought in wars, that was prominent people in the army, they saying that the American currency system is destroyed. Why the pastor is not teaching that? Why the pastor is not telling the people in the church, in the churches, that black history is false, that American history is false, because there's no money in that. See, there's no lucrative money in that. If the black preachers started to teach the Bible how I'm preaching it, the people will leave their church tomorrow. See, they're gonna leave it. It's because there's no prosperity in that. That's why the Creator said what? He says that his watchmen, which are Israelites, are blind, they are all ignorant, they are all dumb dogs, they cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving the slumber. Yea, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough, and they are shepherds that cannot understand. See, they don't understand nothing. If it's not about money and bowing down and kissing the boot of the so-called white man, then they don't want to preach that. They preached the Messiah, but the Messiah was a revolutionary. He spoke truth to power. Why they not speaking truth to power? Why they not speaking truth to power? It's because they said what? Why they not speaking truth to power? It's because they're all a part of the system. They're a part of the same system that put our ancestors in slavery. So in actuality, they traitors. And they don't even realize that they're traitors. Man said something, but you know, why you just can't, why you just can't stop and have a conversation? You know, black people don't even know how to have a conversation. They conversation, they got to try to be aggressive, you know. That's what I'm saying. That's why a lot of these folks, man, they're going to be destroyed, man, because they don't understand what time it is, man. It's nation building time, man. Most High is through with this system. The economy has fallen. The morale of the people has fallen. There's no more America. America is modern day Babylon, man. Isaiah, the 19th chapter, the first verse, it says, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Most High rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And we don't, what's going on, bro? We don't even see that the Creator is already here. And what is the idols that's being moved? See, it's the false leadership that's ruling in the affairs of men today. That's what's being moved. This is who you worship. You worship the politicians, right? You worship the mayors, the presidents. These are all your idols. And how they being moved is because they still trying to move the system, but the system is being broken. And who is the one that's doing that? That's the Creator. It's because the Creator is the one that put the people in power. The Creator is the one that put America in the power that she's in today. The Creator set up people, and he take people out of power. It says, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Most High rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. And the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And what is some of the other idols that is being moved? It's white supremacy. See? The white supremacy don't have the same stronghold that she had back in the day. That's what's being moved also. The influence and the power of the so-called white man. It says, I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And who is the modern day Egyptians of today? It's you so-called Americans. That's why the Republicans and the Democrats they are fighting each other. It's because these are the modern day Egyptians of today. They're fighting each other in Congress. They're closing down the system because they're at war with each other. And the Republicans and the Democrats are nothing but the North and the South. Eventually, they're going to they're going to stop using the ballots, and they're going to pick up guns. There will be another civil war that's going to take place on the shores of America. Because that's really what the 19th chapter of the book of Revelation is talking about. It's talking about the war that's going to take place against all these nations that's in power. See, that's what's taking place. And whether you like it or not, you're gonna be caught up in the middle of it. They're not gonna stop going to war with each other because you're talking about we shall overcome. See, they're not gonna stop doing that. I can't think of that brother's name, but the guy, he sat up here and talked about how George Floyd fentanyl killed him. See? The Creator is bringing back the old spirit of the so-called white man from the 1900s and the 1800s. See, when he was proud to be a racist. This is the spirit that the Creator is bringing towards the so-called white man, is because he's going to usher those people into war. This is why it removed the so-called black man, that he got to return back to his nationality. See, no more of this foundational black Americans, Pan-Africanism, all this type of stuff. The black man is the Israelite. See, that's who he is. And if he doesn't return back to his nationality, he's going to be destroyed. So with that being said, brothers and sisters,